going on, everybody? This is Matt Does Fitness, and a bear walks into a pub and orders a pint of beer and a pack of crisps. The barman says, "Why the long pause?" And the bear says, "I've got a speech impediment." Okay, this is my bench press highlights from week 3 of my second cycle. It was a pretty positive week as far as bench press goes, made some more progress, some more PRs. Here's my first session. So, as you saw there, it was 5 singles at 145 kilos, 320 pounds, and I got all of them. That first one there in particular felt ridiculously easy. It didn't look so smooth, but to me it felt really easy. I felt like I had a lot more there, which is obviously very positive. The session as a whole is obviously pleasing because not that long ago, like a matter of weeks ago, this was more than my PR. So to get it for 5 singles, the first couple of them feeling really easy, then that obviously bodes well for my end of the cycle PR attempt. Now, while this footage is running, I thought I would talk to you about diet, because it's obviously one of the most common kind of topics that comes up in the bodybuilding slash powerlifting slash fitness world. I get asked about it all the time. It's one of the most common topics I get asked about. People always ask me what I eat and what I recommend other people eat, and how to lose weight, that kind of stuff. So to be honest, I think my biggest kind of issue, my biggest thing I'll talk about is the fact that I think people tend to massively overcomplicate things. I personally think that with the exception of a very kind of small minority, most people do not need to look at their diet in a massive amount of detail, unless you are like an absolute elite athlete or like a competing, like competitive bodybuilder. Unless you're going to literally, the tiniest little nuances are going to affect your physique, then I don't think you need to pay anywhere near as much attention to your diet as most people do. The biggest thing you need to look at, roughly speaking, is your calories in versus calories out. So the most common question I'm asked is how, I want to lose a bit of fat, but I'm finding it really hard to stick to a diet. That is so common. People kind of mention that all the time. And the reason people tend to struggle to stick to a diet is that they ban themselves from eating certain food. Now, I've mentioned this quite a few times in previous videos. If you say to yourself, right, for the next 6 months, I'm not going to eat chocolate, then human nature dictates that that is going to be the one thing you want. You're going to make it so hard for yourself not to eat that unless you have the absolute ultimate self-control, it's not going to happen. You are simply setting yourself up to fail. Whether it happens in a week or a month or in 6 months, invariably you will come off that and you will end up going mental, binging out and eating loads of food. Now, I know so many people whose weight goes up and down because they lose weight, they feel great, and then eventually they go back to their old ways and start eating loads of food again. And when they do go back to their old ways, it tends to be 10 times worse than it was previously. So what I would say is just, it's moderation. That is the key. I can't stress that enough. It is all about moderation. If you, like I said, if you say to yourself, I'm not going to eat this thing ever, it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how long you last, eventually, unless you are in that tiny minority of people who have incredible self-control, it's not going to happen, okay? You are going to end up going back to eating that thing. So what I would say is just say to yourself, I'm going to eat some of it. If I want to eat something, if I'm feeling really crap, if I want to eat something, then I'm going to eat it. I'm just not going to go crazy. And if I do, slip occasionally and go crazy, then just try and make up for it. Have a day where you don't eat so much. Like I said, it's essentially calories in versus calories out. Your body doesn't really know that much more. As long as you're getting enough protein, and obviously you're eating your fruit and veg, you're getting all the kind of micronutrients, then aside from that, it doesn't matter too much. Obviously, if you eat crap, if you eat takeaways every day, then after a while, you're not going to feel great. But that said, if you say to yourself, if you stop yourself from ever eating crap, then, I mean, the most people, that's going to make you kind of feel a bit depressed and a bit miserable because you can't eat the good stuff. And that in itself is going to be counteractive, because obviously your body might physically be in better shape, but you're going to feel crap, and that's going to lead to you slipping back anyway. So it is just all about moderation. Like I said, I personally, when I was competing in track and field in athletics, I spent about a year really kind of sticking to a really clean diet. I said to myself I was not going to eat any crap. I'd have a cheat day every week. But all I found was that I was pretty much depressed for a lot of the time. I found it so hard not to eat crap. I didn't enjoy it. And I was constantly counting down the days until I got to a cheat day. And B, I found that my cheat day got progressively worse and worse. So, got to the point where I was eating a stupid amount of food in that day because I knew I wasn't going to be getting any more crap for the rest of the week. And in terms of calories in for the whole week, it probably wasn't that much different to my normal diet, because obviously I was eating so many on that cheat day the rest of the week when I was cutting didn't make that much of a difference. What I found was that during that period I was craving stuff like donuts and cakes and stuff to a ridiculous degree. When I then stopped doing track and field athletics and I started doing powerlifting, I said to myself, I can eat whatever I want. The irony was that I wasn't actually that fussed. Like, obviously initially for the first couple of weeks I did go a bit crazy. I ate loads of food. But when the novelty wore off, I found that actually the things that I was craving to a ridiculous extent, I wasn't actually that fussed about. Yeah, it is just human nature. Like I said, if you ban yourself from having something, whatever it is, that is going to be something that you massively want. More so than than the actual reality. So, like I said, you build up the idea of eating something, you make it into this incredible thing, but actually in reality it isn't that great. So what I would say is just say to yourself, I can eat what I want, but in moderation. And you should, in theory, to most people this will work. You should find that actually, when it comes to it, it's not that amazing. You don't crave it that much. I mean, like I said, I personally, now I'm powerlifting. To be fair, I'm eating more than I've ever eaten before. I'm trying to make myself eat more food because I want to get stronger. But that said, I don't really ever crave things. When I was cutting and I was jumping and I was probably about 10 kilos lighter than I am now, I just crave things all the time. Whereas now, I don't really ever crave things. And if I do feel like eating something and I do eat it, I mean, after a bit, I'm not that fast. I don't want to eat loads of it, whereas before that was the case. So, in summary, that's what I'm saying. I think it is all about moderation. Just eat what you want, but to a sensible degree. Don't eat loads of anything. Just eat stuff in moderation. Don't stress out about what you're eating. As long as you get enough protein and you're eating decent food for the majority of the time, then if you want to eat some crap, don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up about it, because that's going to make you feel worse, and like I said, it's going to be counterproductive. So eat what you want to eat to a sensible degree within moderation. And as long as you're getting the right amount of calories, which you can calculate online, and to be honest, it's pretty simple. If you eat food and you're putting on weight, it means you're eating too much food. If you are losing weight, it means you're eating less food. So just eat, whatever you want to eat in accordance to the amount of weight you want to lose or gain. And within that, make sure you get enough protein, make sure you're eating your fruit and vegetables, and that's that. The rest of it will fall into place. And that is my advice on that front. I just thought, like I said, I thought I'd talk about that because particularly this week I've had a few people come up to me and ask me, both via YouTube and in real life, and I thought I would address it because it's obviously a very, very common problem that a lot of people have. Okay, going back to my bench press sessions. So the first one you saw there was the singles. The one after that was the 5 sets of 3. I went for 135 kilos, which is 298 pounds. Again, as was the case last week, I didn't get all 5 sets, which is a little bit frustrating. But to be fair, that's probably the most challenging of my sessions because it is pretty heavy and it's still 5 triples. This is my 3 sets of 5, and as was the case last week, I got it again for another PR. So this week I attempted 127.5 kilos, which is, something like 280 or so pounds, and I got it, and that's a PR for 3 sets of 5, which is now 3 consecutive weeks of PRs for bench press, which is pretty crazy, and I definitely did not expect that coming back from holiday. So I personally feel like now I am stronger than I was when I hit my last bench PR, so I'm confident I've got another PR to get right now. I've got another couple of weeks or 3 weeks of this cycle, so I'll continue those weeks, continue the cycle, finish it off, and then I'll test my PRs. And like I said, I'm very confident of hitting a PR in my bench press. What exact number that's going to be, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it, but we will find out in a matter of weeks. Okay, accessory-wise, the first session was predominantly chest. This last session is also predominantly chest, with some triceps in both sessions, to be fair. In the middle session, I did predominantly shoulders, and my shoulders were pretty good after that. Normally, if I do too much shoulders, they ache for a bit, but after that session, bearing in mind I did quite a lot of, I think I did 4 different exercises for my shoulders. My shoulders felt fine the day after, which was very promising because I've had some issues in that department. And I finished this session with some cable crunches because I haven't done abs for ages. I keep forgetting to do them, and obviously I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm doing lots of posterior chain work, particularly with the deadlifts and stuff, so it is very important to maintain a little bit of balance. Therefore, I need to try and include a little bit more abs if I can remember. Yeah, these felt pretty good. Today is the next day and my abs are pretty sore, which is good because that very rarely happens because, like I said, I don't ever do abs. But yeah, that was my session and that was my week. A very decent week of bench pressing, PRs all over the place. Really, really pleasing, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it informative. Any questions in regards to the diet stuff, let me know. Like, comment, share, subscribe, as always, and I will see you in my next video.